Why are you so wobbly? Well. Guess who's back? I'm back, following through with the promise of posting one video per week. My not so priority goal right now is posting a video every Monday and Friday. That's twice a week. However, I understand it's a Wednesday, so not really following through with that goal. My main goal continues to be posting once a week, just once a week on a random day, probably not on a Monday or a Friday. Am I gonna follow through with the Monday or Friday plan? Probably not. As I was studying for my final exam, a quote completely unrelated to what I was studying presented itself in my head. It was a quote by Anderson .Paak, a prolific spokesperson in our era who dabbles in spoken wordplay. Someone akin to Shakespeare or Dr. Seuss. During his 2016 cipher with Lil Dicky and Designer, he said something that went, "I'm forking a flashlight to cope with the pain. What more can I say?" And that quote hit me right here, right in the upper nipple area. And that got me thinking, how do I cope with the pain? From time to time, I'm hit with the occasional seasonal depression, but it's never that serious that it affected my day-to-day life. I'm here to provide you with a coping mechanism that worked out for me while I was at my lowest point. For some people, losing $10,000 to the Haktua woman's crypto coins might not be so bad.
Fuck two and spit on that thing.
It's just pocket change. It's calm. It's chillin'. It's nothing. However, losing 10 grand to a crypto scam for some people, a majority of people, could be absolutely life-changing. With that amount of money, you could order 3,333 cheeseburgers from McDonald's. Enough to feed your mother for one day. I believe that my lowest point, emotion-wise, was when my ex-girlfriend from the 5th grade broke up with me over a Facebook text. And not just any normal message either. Through emojis. And that hit a little bit. A lot. I had recently moved schools, and so we were trying a long distance relationship, and after 3 months, unfortunately, it didn't work out. Unfortunately. I know. You're telling yourself, that's it? That's your lowest point? Yes. But I can explain. I was young. It was my first relationship. I'm sure that at some point everyone has had that stomach churning feeling, that first fling, that first spark of love. And whether that ends or not is completely up to the couple. Unfortunately for me, it didn't end up anywhere. Not unfortunately, because then I wouldn't have met my girlfriend and we wouldn't be together right now, so I guess it ended up alright. During that time though, I was astronomically down. Could not eat, could not sleep properly, could not walk properly, could not breathe properly. It was just a bad time. To combat this, I went to YouTube for coping strategies. I tried yoga, meditation, and even tried doing morning walks. However, none of them worked out. I guess I just wasn't meant to touch grass. Just when I was about to give up and start binge watching One Piece, I came upon a gift that I gave to my parents. A small gift. It was a poem on a small piece of paper. Trash handwriting. Terrible graphite on the pencil. You'd know it was one of those 5-cent pencils back in the days. Now, it wasn't too great. Something that you would expect from a first grader trying to replicate a 6th grader's attempt of a homework that they forgot to do. That's due to be submitted in 5 minutes. It was rushed. But that definitely got me thinking, why don't I try that? Why don't I try writing a poem? to cope with the pain.
He said it! He said it!
I got my green mini notebook and started spitting bars. Well, for me at least. It was trash bars, but bars regardless. It started with 2 lines, the last words of both lines rhyming. I saw her with an intentional gaze. The light on her eyes puts a smile on my face. I found that it helped me relax better having the words at the end rhyme. Then I started making them longer, adding nice titles, and just having them make more sense in general. And by make sense, I mean in a 5th grade type of standard of making sense. Finally, after some time, I did it. I finally wrote a poem about the breakup titled Snow in September, and it went something like this. Times were tough. Memories were bliss. The only thing worth fighting for was your kiss. You were a princess, I remark. I was your knight in the dark, and my confusion was the only thing that ever kept a spark. Our love was slowly fading. My interests were trading, and our relationship was faintly disintegrating. Your touch was all I can remember, for it was solely the heat during the snow in September. Absolutely cringe now. It hurt me physically reading that poem. I am hurt, affected, both mentally and physically. Reading that poem, I get it. You must be as well, so I apologize. Overall, I'd say it was so-so. However, at the time, I put my heart, my soul, and various many other body fluids into writing that poem. I went on and on, writing poems primarily all about sadness, breakups, depression, and finally, moving on. For me personally, writing these poems actually helped out a little, taking some time off my day to just pour my feelings out, I guess, on a page did help out a little bit. Even nowadays, I still write poems from time to time, but thankfully they're no longer about sadness. Actually, they're nowhere near anything about sadness. Just a couple of months ago, I wrote a poem about kidneys and presented them in front of a group of nursing students. Something sort of an icebreaker for the upcoming actual presentation. Nothing too serious. Unless of course you have kidney stones or chronic kidney disease, then it's nothing to joke about. I recommend you have a talk with a healthcare provider. Now, I don't know if it works for others, but it's definitely helped me get out of some tough times. If yoga, meditation, exercise, or even journaling doesn't work out for you, then I'd suggest giving writing poems a chance. Who knows, maybe it'll help you feel better. Society will always need a fresh new batch of Shakespeare's and Dr. Seuss's. Or if you want a more modern alternative, you might just become the next big rapper in the scene. Remember, as low tier God stated, you serve many purpose. You should live your life to the fullest. I think that's what he said. I'm not too sure. Something along those lines, if I remember correctly. I believe those words from him are something one should live by, strive for in their day-to-day lives. Live by those words, and I think you'll do just fine. Alright.